The hidden city of Gondolin is under siege by Melkor, the strongest of the Valar. He has built well, look guys, he built a really nasty army, okay, of orcs and all kinds of evil creatures like trolls, all right, cave trolls. I mean, look at this guy, look at him. And then on the other side, we got the elves who are like, yo, what the heck? How did he find our hidden city? How did he do this? Well, they're outnumbered, and there's no way they're gonna win this battle. The only chance of them getting some sort of victory is getting the citizens out of the city. Oof, not looking good for Gondolin, guys. I mean, talk about the case of the Mondays for those elves. I mean, what's up, guys? It's Apollo here, and today I'm using my webcam. Now, I don't usually use it, but I have something very important to talk about, okay? Not only is Gondolin under siege by Morgoth, but your eyes are under siege by blue light constantly. And the best defense, I cannot recommend this enough, get a pair of glasses that block blue light. You know, in this hellscape we call the modern era, your eyes are exposed to screens all the time, whether it be for gaming or work. You know, you got your iPhone, your smartphone, you got your PC, you got your TV, and it's just blasting your eyes with blue light. And all this blue light can do long-term damage to your eyes. It can cause headaches. It can throw off your sleep pattern. Ever since I got my pair of GMG performance glasses, you know, they look very cool. The ladies love it. I mean, I get a lot of DMs, but hey, I'm married. I'm a married man. Ever since I've gotten these glasses for a couple weeks now, I've been wearing them, and it's improved just my eye strain. I've had a lot of eye strain, especially when working late at night. And ever since I put these glasses on, you can like feel, like one day I forgot to wear my glasses and my eyes are starting to hurt. And then I put the glasses on and instantly you could feel like the relief, like weight off of your eyes because it's blocking this blue light. And guys, it's just not normal. It's not natural to be exposed to all this blue light at the end of the day. So guys, don't hesitate any longer. For the sake of your health, for protecting your eyes, look down in the link in the video description. There's a link to get your own pair of GMG performance glasses, and you can get it for 40% off in the first 48 hours. So the time is now. Get yourself a pair of glasses, protect your eyes. It's the best defense, dang it. All right, let's go back to poor Gondolin. Poor Gondolin. So the Siege of Gondolin happened in the first age of Middle-earth. And basically Melkor, who again is a Valar, he's kind of like a Satan figure. He's a Valar, a godly character, a godly creature that has fallen and has gone against Iluvatar, which is, you know, God. And he's corrupted and he's evil. He's bad. And that's where all the bad stuff comes from in Middle-earth is, dang it, Melkor, we can't have anything nice because of you. Anyways, there's a hidden city called Gondolin, and I believe my lore on this is not perfect, but the city, someone betrays the city and gives away the location, and here comes Melkor ready to crush it. Now, lore-wise, Melkor wins this battle, all right? He's got Balrogs and dragons, and it's not good. The elves were not ready for this. So I wanted to create a scenario that is a little bit unique, a little bit different than your typical scenario. So I came up with a scenario, and again, I call this, obviously, the Siege of Gondolin. You can find the scenario rules in my Discord, which is linked in the video description. So the way this works is not about winning the battle, it's about getting out the civilians of Gondolin to safe passage. Which, again, lore speaking, Glorfindel, probably the most powerful elf to ever exist, he got the civilians out. He eventually fights a Balrog, right, and kills it, but he also dies, and then he comes back because he's epic. So yeah, that's my lore. Anyways, the way this works, the way the rules are gonna work here, it's technically a 3 versus 3, but I am one of the defenders, but I represent the civilians. I don't really get to fight. All I do is consider me as more of a referee. The way this is going to work is after every 10 minutes, one civilian unit can evacuate the city. But these units, and you can see it, let me show you. There's one here, there's one here, there's one over here, and there's one way back here, and yeah, here. So that's 5 total. So every 10 minutes, you can retreat a civilian unit out of the city, and to consider it out evacuated, they have to get through this gate here. This is the eastern gate. So yeah, that's basically the rules. The elves have to defend and buy time. Now, if this was a normal battle, there's no way the elves are going to win this battle. It's a desperate last stand, and it's up to the elves to do everything in their power to try to win this one. So really quick, as since the elves have taken a more defensive position, which makes sense. Remember, you're trying to buy time, not necessarily kill the enemy. Really quick, let's look at the army comp. So start with the elves. So here's, well, my army's just 5 units of these tribal youths. I didn't pick an elven faction because I wanted a really weak troop that looks vastly different than the elven soldiers. So the attacking players can easily find where the civilians are. Basically, all the civilians here are represented in the yellow icons. Now the elves, here are the 2 elven armies. They're mixed with some good and bad, or not, I mean, there's no bad units in the elven army. There we go, first shots fired. They are mixed with really good units and medium tier units. And then if we look at the attacking side, there's 3 baddies. One army is Mordor, one army is Dol Guldur, and one army is the goblins. So they are all bringing pretty decent armies. They have some top tier units in there. They also have, of course, the trolls, which are going to be very vital in this battle to try to quickly break through the elven defenses. So I don't remember. I believe the battle technically starts. Oh, it's different because this is the battle replay. Okay. Well, it's hard to determine. Basically, you'll see when the civilians are going to be retreated off you'll see them start moving. I'll keep you up to date. But basically, the timer is going down and the battle has begun. You can see that Mordor, or the baddies, Morgoth, Melkor, he has opened up a breach point and he is charging in. We got some goblin scrappers. Goblin scrappers. So right away, this is the kind of mentality that the attackers that Morgoth and his evil forces need to have. They truly are fighting the clock. And the best thing to do, nice little charge there, look at that, by the patrollers. Nimrodel patrollers. What the best thing they need to do is get their troops stuck in. They want to just start killing and killing and killing. That's what orcs do best. So get them in the fight, throw them in, and try to whittle down their defenses. Because remember, tick, tock, tick. All right, time is against them. And if they, oh, I completely forgot. How does the elves win and how does Mordor or Morgoth win? If 3 units are killed, if 3 civilian units are killed, then it's considered a victory for Morgoth. If 3 units evacuate the city, then it's considered a victory for the elves. So just keep that in mind. And right away, what do we got here? Some goblin scrappers. They are taking on some, looks like some spear infantry of the elves, the Naath infantry. I don't know how to pronounce anything, guys. I suck. But yeah, they're going to hold pretty well here, and they are getting splashed here by some black arrows from some archers, some orc bow rabble. Pew, pew, pew. So yeah, they're opening fire, and they are doing some good damage here. Now, another rule that I forgot to mention, it's not super important, but the attackers are not allowed to attack the civilians with archer or artillery fire. They have to kill the civilians through melee. All right, so that's why they're not shooting at the civilians. And by the way, guys, I can't move these guys. I cannot move these units until enough time has passed. You can see the enemy is pushing through this roadway here. What do we got here? Oh, phantoms. Oh, yes, the phantoms. Send in the phantoms. But yeah, they're taking on the, please. All right, I'll stop with the cringe. The Lorien Sword Company are doing a good job of holding back the phantoms. This is an example of an elven unit that's not amazing, relatively speaking. Really, all the elves are great, but yeah. They're gonna try to hold against these phantoms the best they can. Now back over in the center, a lot of people don't know this, but there is a hidden path here that you can attack the elves with. It doesn't really seem like there's a path, but there is, and so now the elves are having to hold with more sword company. He's got some Galadrim spear warriors, and these guys are very good archers and melee fighters, so they're getting very nice job by the attackers kind of focusing their archer fire on this unit. I think personally I would have held this unit back. Oh my god! Wow. So yeah, there's another unit of spear warriors. That sucks. Wow, a really good unit that got 0 kills. 0 kills. That sucks. Now remember guys, these army comps are pre-built. So again, if you want to play these scenarios on your own time, you can find them on my Discord. It shows all the rules and the preset army comps that you have to build. I think this scenario is balanced pretty well. You'll see why, but yeah. You can find that on my Discord. It's called Custom Scenarios. It's a text channel. You'll find everything there. Look at this lone spearman just surrounded by orcs. He's like, I don't care. I will fight to the end. I don't know. Elves just sound like that, you know? I will fight. I mean, what is there really to be afraid of as an elf? No, because when you die, you just go to like some place. I forgot what it's called. Anyways, back over here, it has been 10 minutes. So right at this point, it's about 10 minutes in game time, by the way, not like out of game, because there is some lag. So in game time, so the first civilian unit has given the clear to evacuate. Also, the defenders, it's up to them to retreat a unit that they want, right? So they could have retreated this unit here instead of this one, but it's more strategically sound to retreat the tribal youths, you know, over here. You know, it just makes more sense. And we've got some swordsmen here. More swords. Look at the officers, like, follow me, men. For the trees and cookies. They're gonna charge in and support this front. Well, let's go check out over on the other side. We got a huge blob of forces. Again, very nice defense by the elves. Really trying to hold back as many dark forces as possible with as many troops as possible as well. So this is a very good choke point area for the elves. And that's exactly what they need in this situation. They got to buy time. They must waste time. Back over this way, you can see that they are doing the same thing here as well, kind of holding back the baddies with one unit and sparingly using their units to buy as much time as possible so they could eventually evacuate more civilian units. Oh, that stab. That was juicy. That was juicy. So, and notice he's got a reserve back here holding this point here, because here's the thing about the bad guys. They were only allowed to siege this wall here, the west-facing wall. But once they're inside the city, they are free to maneuver any way they want. So they could potentially break through and rush troops down here and cut off the retreat of the civilians. So it's something that they have to look out for. Now we've got the Witch King here. And I guess the Witch King, you could say, is Morgoth. So we've got a cav unit absolutely going in and just be slaying some elves. Look at that. Very nice. Very nice. So, yeah, that was a really good job with the elves there. Cleaned up that flank, but it doesn't matter because the civilians that were located here got out of the danger zone. And the question is, which civilian unit is going to move next? Is it going to be this one, or is it going to be this one over here? They're kind of on the same tier. So we'll see how this goes on. And the fun thing about this scenario is the strategy behind it, because it's very different. Again, it's not about winning the battle or killing a ton of troops. It's about stalling and delaying. But at the same time, you can't just give up ground because you have civilians that are stationed here that you can't, you know, these civilians can't maneuver. You know, so it's all about just holding on to specific locations and killing time. And so far, the elves seem to be doing a decent job. I think what the orcs need to do now is just be unrelenting, right? Unrelenting. Just charge in and get as much, get those trolls in there. I'd be throwing in the trolls right away. You want to kill as many civilians as possible. Remember, that is the objective of the game. And it's so funny watching elves kill orcs because it's kind of like, technically, you know, it's like elf on elf because orcs are corrupted elves. Now, I think originally when Tolkien was making orcs, they weren't elves. They were just like these creatures made from mud or whatever from Morgoth. But then he realized, oh wait, Morgoth can't create anything. So I think he changed the lore and he was like, okay, the orcs are corrupted elves, you know, which makes sense. I mean, that's only natural. Only natural. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of lore videos. Anyways, back over this way, the elven defense is starting to get a little concerning. And keep in mind, guys, nice little charge there with these horse archers. Now, keep in mind, he can't let this flank completely go. Even though the civilians have evacuated out of Gondolin, he cannot let this flank go. A nice little break there. That was beautiful cap charge. Because the baddies can easily maneuver through here and cut off the retreat. So that's something to look after, to look for. Now we got some Olag High. We got some trolls. And the trolls are I guess, the evil's answer to ints. But yeah, they have pushed in and they are definitely finally mobilizing the trolls and trying to get them in the fight. Yes. Hammer smash. Very nice. So with the trolls, I think they're going to be able to start really pushing through the flank. They've got some archers back here. The Twilight Guard. That are they're just getting blasted right now by orc arrows. But yeah, they're doing their best to try to support and overwhelm the trolls, but so far it's not looking so good. And still, it has not been another 10 minutes. Remember, every time a civilian leaves, you have to wait another 10 minutes. Or, you know, once, basically, they're just 10-minute timers. So basically, the second unit can leave after 20 minutes. But yeah, the elves are still fighting the good fight. They're doing a good job over on this ramp. This would be another location I'd send some trolls. Same thing over here. They should have each... No, I think they only have 2 trolls. No, they each have a troll unit. I would be attacking these points with trolls, like, right away. Again, remember, time is against you. You have to be extremely aggressive. Now he's got some orc rabble doing what they do best, getting shot at and capturing a point here as the Great Eye is rising. Unfortunately, they break. That's the orcs for you, you know? They're just... They have the morale of a wet sponge. I don't even... Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Wet sponges, I mean, they do a good job. Their morale's pretty high, soaking up all that water and stuff. But here comes a charge from the Cav. Unfortunately, he doesn't really get a great charge off, but he does get in the thick of it. And I think he's just trying to keep this unit busy because we do have some elven spears. Galadriel spear warriors. Galadriel spear warriors. Oh, wait a sec. Okay, these are the spear... Okay, I'm sorry. I thought the Galadriel spear warriors could use their bows. That's my mistake. It's the Twilight Guard that are really good. I mean, these guys are really good too. So they're going to do a good job here of fighting the good fight and maintaining this safe passage. Maintaining the safe passage. So still has not been 20 minutes. And these units here cannot evacuate yet. But at this point in the battle, the defenders told me that they want this unit to evacuate next. So this unit could be in a tricky situation. I don't know if they can wait another 10 minutes to defend that unit up there. The elves still fighting the good fight, guys. I mean, absolutely doing everything they can. The archer fire coming down. It is absolutely disgusting. Now, I would say if you want to make this more challenging for the attackers, get rid of the archers. Because the archers have been absolute elf killers like no other. Now, back over this way, they do have a unit that was able to sneak by, but it's really not going to lead to anything. These phantoms are down to 23 troops. Back here, they're still holding with a thin unit. Look at this. Lorien Sword Company. Still fighting and holding off against these Snaga javelins. Snaga. Yeah, I'm a Snaga. That's how I assume they sound, you know. They're kind of like the slave orcs, you know. They're lower on the orc chain, you know. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, I'm a Snaga. Anyways, they're charging in. And they're going to try to flank and get behind. I think either they could keep pushing this way to try to cut off retreating units, or they could cut in and start killing the civilians here, because there's nothing protecting the civilians from this flank. Back over this way, still not enough time. Not enough time to retreat these tribal or the civilians. The elves are doing an excellent job. Excellent job of fighting the elephant trolls. They are sending in everything they got to maintain this line. There we go. The trolls are starting to fall. The elven arrows are starting to hit their targets. And so they continue to hold this front. Now back over on this side, we have Morgoth, a.k.a. the Witch King. Not lore-wise, but just in the game. Doing a great job. I think they just killed the elven general, and they have flanked around these spears, and the spears are going to make the ultimate sacrifice and try to hold on to this position as long as possible. And they do a good job there. Look at them. They're still fighting. They get out of the way. The archers are about to blast them point blank. And oh my gosh, the general is charged in against these elves. Morgoth. Melkor. There we go. They're going to charge in, surround, and overwhelm. These spears are fighting to the bitter end. Absolute heroes of elves here. Absolute heroes. So cool. So cool. Now, finally, it's been 20 minutes, so the next unit of civilians is able to evacuate the city. Looks like they're having a little bit of pathfinding issues, as naturally you will have on these custom settlements. But they are on the move. Now, unfortunately, the elven defense has fallen on this side. And these civilians are about to get absolutely smacked. They're about to get surrounded by a bunch of orcs. They're like, oh no, where is the military? We are surrounded. There's no escape. So yeah, they're going to surround these guys and start killing them. And guys, let me tell you, this is why I picked the tribal youths. I turned off fire at will because they're a Javi unit. And in melee, they're absolute trash. And that's the point. So the civilians... So Morgoth is committing war crimes and killing civilians. That's how it's going to be. Now back over here, the elves are still desperately holding on to this flank because they know that they cannot lose the evacuation trail. If they lose, if they don't secure it, it's going to be a big problem for their civilians. So basically, the players kind of gave up this civilian to buy more time because the elves have now rallied everything that they have left over here to protect the third and winning civilian. So basically, if this civilian unit can get out, the defenders win. If the attackers kill the civilian, or if they kill 3 units of civilians, they win. So it's going to be close over here. Oh, I wish he got these elves out of here. I wish he got him out, but he's getting surrounded by some elite units. Sorry about the framiness, guys. That is Total War Attila for you. What are these? These are Gondor blades. Like, why not Golgaldor blades? No, we're just Goldor blades. Really? Why? I don't know. It's faster. Goldor, Dolgoldor blades, you know? Goldor blades. It's cooler. So, yeah, we definitely are starting to see some elite units on the battlefield. And they gotta go, guys. I mean, this right here, any kind of hesitation is a mistake from Morgoth and its orcs. They just gotta keep pushing. Here comes more blades into the fight. The civilians here have almost been killed. The other rule is that if 50% of the civilians are killed, they are considered destroyed. So keep that in mind. Back over this way. It looks like the Elven defense has fallen over here as well. So now there's a potential flanking opportunity for the baddies to cut off the retreating civilians. The second civilian unit has not yet made it out of the gate, but it's looking like most likely they will get out of the city. And so far you can see there's a general here because you're forced to bring a general to a battle. It's not important. So you can see that one unit has made it, has evacuated, and the second one is about to evacuate. So guys, it's coming down to this. It is coming down to this. Can the elves hold for a little less than 10 minutes at this point and save their civilian, or is it all gonna be over? We'll find out soon enough. Don't hesitate. They're mindless orcs. Just send them in. There we go. Goblin Warband going up here. So there's basically two paths that you can attack from. Really three paths. And you can see the baddies are kind of using this path here. But the way the map is set up, he should have probably went this way and then down here and then up this path. And that way he could have like cut off the retreat, you know, of the civilians. Now, another rule that I mentioned about how to fairly retreat the civilians. Basically, the civilians, as soon as their time is up and they can evacuate the city, they constantly have to be running towards the gate. So I can take the civilians and kind of bob and weave and maneuver a little bit, but the civilians are not allowed to stop. They're not allowed to hide. They have to constantly be moving towards the gate. All right, so that is kind of the rule. That's kind of how the civilian situation works. Now, the baddies are just, I mean, like a hot knife through butter. Look at them. Oh, look at this elf standing defiantly. He's like, oh no. He just got wrecked. But he took some with him. And yeah, the elves are fighting the good fight. Oh yeah, look at them. Chopping off heads. So awesome. These units look so good. They look so good. We got some pikemen. They're like, ah! These are like the pikes of 10th or teeth, or whatever they're called. What are they called? Yeah, teeth. I don't know. It's weird. It's some pike unit. They're really good though. And this is all they can conjure? Is this all the elves have? Is just a unit of archers that have used up all their bows? It looks like it. It looks like it. But you know, these sword warriors are doing a great job, and they're definitely causing the orcs to bleed here. Look at this little goblin. He's like, nah. Yes. I'm a snagger. Go. Fight. Oh my gosh. So these are legit heroes here. And now the archers, look at them. I think they're starting to retreat. Yes, they are starting to retreat because I think either... Yeah, okay, they're just keeping units nearby this unit. And look at, they're starting to break over here. Where are the... Get some more orcs in here. They are crumbling to the might of these elves. So the elves are holding this side way better, I would say. The trolls are definitely going to cause an issue. But I think the elves are holding a little bit better on this side. Got some elves up here getting blasted by the orc arrows. Unfortunate for them. Back over this way. My goodness. Like, why even hold anything back in reserve? Especially the trolls. Because the trolls don't work. The trolls work like elephants. They're not going to be congested back here. They will force their way up to the front. And they need to get in there and start chopping away at these swords because they're buying time. Now check this out. The baddies have started to move their units to cut off the retreat. Maybe that's why they're not focusing that frontal attack so much. Maybe they're going for a different strategy, which is cutting off the civilian retreat, which could work out. Now, over on this side, the elves are doing hammer and anvil strikes. And I believe at this point, guys, no civilian can move yet. The civilian cannot move yet. Now, remember, the defenders get to choose which civilian they want to retreat. And by looking at their defense here, it does appear, yes, and of course, I was playing the game, so they do choose this far back civilian unit to evacuate. Now, remember, they only need 3 units to evacuate to win the siege. So they're going to basically use this one as a sacrificial unit. But if I'm the bad guys, I would ignore this unit and don't waste any units fighting these civilians. Just run. Be aggressive. But look at this. Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. The baddies have cut off the retreat. But there's some elven units from the reserve that are going to fight for a secure evacuation pathway. Here comes the elven blades. Let's see if they can get a good charge here. Oh, yeah. Look at that. Look at that. And now the elves, they've got their spears. They got some infantry. They're going to go ahead and charge these orcs. They're like, you will not deny the citizens safe passage. As they charge in against the Noldor blades. And now we got an archer unit coming over to support as well. And at this point, look at this. Okay, so look at, he should have just walked past this unit. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. And there we go. The next 10 minutes just went by, and I am now able to retreat the tribal youths. And notice how the player kind of timed that. He kind of retreated his unit a little bit ahead of time because he realized, oh, they have enough time, and he's going to stay close. It's like, this is like Glorfindel. He's like staying nearby the civilians. And look at, there's some trolls on their way. The trolls are coming, trying to cut off the retreat. And this is so badass. Look at this. The elven reserves, like Moses splitting the water, the ocean, you know, the Red Sea. This is them splitting the orc forces and preserving safe passage. So the orcs need to hurry up and get there. But we are on the run against the trolls. And Glorfindel kind of holds it. Here he is. Even though he has golden hair, he's holding here, and then he decides to retreat because he realized, hey, there's no need. There's no need. The civilians are making it out. And unfortunately, the orc player looks away and stops microing his Olag High because there's so much going on. And the elves actually break this unit, but right in time because there's a flanking unit of orcs that are going to try to cut off the civilians. Can they do it, guys? Can they do it? And they're going to hold them in place. Here comes the civilians. Can they evacuate Gondolin? This great city will soon turn to ash. That is unbelievable. But here comes more baddies. They've got to hurry. They got to get up there in time. And look at they're trying to evacuate. Look at this. Look at this. And then we have Glorfindel. He's coming down. I think that's his name, right? I can't keep up with all the names. Here comes a counter charge. The general, the Twilight Princess. Or no, this is Haldir. Haldir was here, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. But yeah, it's looking like at this point, guys, the civilians are going to get out just in time out of the city. And the elven defenders are going to win the Siege of Gondolin, at least in its objective base game, which is getting the civilians out. So that is gonna about wrap it up, guys. That was extremely, guys, I cannot, if like you want to see how intense that was live, because I streamed this battle live, check out the live stream. I'll have it linked in the video description. It was so intense. It was like, oh my god, are you gonna make it? And they had to retreat units to block safe passage. This was just a perfectly balanced battle. I think the attackers made the mistake of just being too passive. I think if they were more aggressive, they would have done a little bit better. But yeah, that's about wraps up the battle, guys. Remember, you can see the rules and all the explanation of how to set up this scenario in my Discord. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I hope to do more scenarios in the future. All right, guys, so big thank you to all the players who took part in this battle. I know it says defeat, but it certainly was a victory for the elves. Here is the results of the kills for the elves, and then we can see it over for Mordor as well. So a lot of fun here. I think this scenario came out pretty nicely, and I want to give a big thank you to everyone right here on this list. They joined me in a Discord call to help come up with rules and how this scenario would work. So a big thank you to everyone in this Discord call. I do appreciate it. Occasionally I'll get in my Discord and chat with you guys, so I do appreciate that, making time out of your day. So yeah, that's gonna wrap it up, guys, for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. This was a lot of fun, and hopefully I'll see you in Middle Earth soon enough.